Discussed below are 5 important events in DUI arrests that generally occur once you were stopped by the police officer up to the time that you were put into jail cell for the night. Each event is described along with what rights you had at that particular time. Event number 1. The police officer asks you if you've had anything to drink. By the time the officer asks you this question, your DUI investigation is already underway. The officer already felt he or she had probable cause or a legal reason for stopping you. From the moment the officer has been in contact with you, he or she has been looking for any and all possible signs of drinking or drug use to support his or her suspicions, such as odor of alcohol, marijuana, smell on your breath or in your car, slurred speech, bloodshot eyes, unsteadiness on your feet, and others. The officer will also be looking in your car for any signs of alcohol or drug use. When the officer asks you if you've been drinking, you have the right to remain silent and to not answer the officer's questions. However, if you know you have not been drinking, you should say so. Event number 2. The police officer asks you to do some simple tests or exercise. After more questioning by the officer, he or she will then ask you if you would like to do some simple exercises to determine if you have been driving under the influence. These exercises are often referred to as field sobriety exercises, or FSEs. Heads up, these tests are difficult to do under ideal conditions. FSEs are not scientific tests at all. They are only exercises that are subjectively graded by the officer. Most of the time, even if someone scores 90% on these tests, the officer will arrest the driver for DUI. When the officer asks you to do these tests, you had the right to refuse to do these exercises. You have the right to ask to speak with your attorney after you have been stopped, but before you are arrested, there is a debate among legal scholars as to when you are entitled to speak with an attorney. Our advice is to ask right away and let your attorney sort it out later. Now, it is important to ask to speak with your lawyer ASAP, because when you do so, the police officer should stop asking you questions. This can help you from making incriminating statements. Also, if the officer does not allow you to speak with your attorney, it will show that the officer was not respecting your constitutional rights, which may look unfair to a jury. Note, the officer probably will not allow you to speak with an attorney until you are booked into the jail. You have the right to ask the officer if you are free to leave. If you do not know if you were under arrest or not, just ask the officer if you are free to go. If you are not free to go, the officer probably intends to arrest you very soon and is only trying to get more evidence for his or her case against you. You have the right to remain silent. Event number 3. The police officer asks you to take a breath test. After the police officer has decided that you've failed the field sobriety exercises, you will then be arrested and asked to take a breath test either on site or at the jail. Note, you must be arrested before the officer can legally ask you to take a breath test. When the officer asks you to take a breath test, you have the right to refuse to take a breath test. The state will probably be allowed to use your refusal against you in your case if it goes to trial. If you have previously refused to take a breath test, there may be some additional criminal penalties for a second refusal. You have the right to ask to speak with your attorney. After you are arrested, you have the right to and should request to speak with an attorney before making any other statements. If you have had nothing or very little to drink, it may be wise to take the breath test. Be careful, as you may feel sober and still be over the legal limit. If you decide to submit to a breath test, you have the right to request an independent blood test. If you do so, the police officer has a duty to render reasonable assistance to give you timely access to a telephone and phone book to arrange this blood test. Event number 4. You are put in the police car and taken to the jail. The police officer may have part or all of the events up to this point recorded on a video and may also have a video camera on you in the back of the patrol car. On the way to the station, the officer may engage you in conversation with the camera running, trying to get you to make incriminating statements that will damage your case. In the patrol car, you have the right to remain silent. You have a right to a copy of any video taken during your arrest. This video evidence that can help or hurt your case. Event number 5, at the police station. The police officer will ask a number of trick questions designed to get you to make more incriminating statements. This usually occurs in the breath testing room. These questions often start off simple, and then they lead you down a path until no matter what you say or how you answer it, it will hurt your case. At the police station, you have the right to remain silent and refuse to answer any questions. You have the right to ask to speak to your attorney. Note, after being arrested, once you ask to speak with your attorney, the officer should stop asking you questions. If the officer continues to ask questions, you should continue to ask to speak with your attorney. It is generally okay to give the officer your ID, your information, name, address, date of birth, etc., but we suggest you not answer any question about the facts of your case. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today. My name is Attorney Tanner Demery, and I'm with the law firm of Demery Law, PLLC. We service South Florida, including Broward, Dade, Palm Beach, and Monroe County. If you have any further questions, feel free to give me a call at my direct line at 954-224-0577. I look forward to your questions. Thank you, and stay safe out there.